Let me switch my audio over.
Okay, yeah, I'm a speaker. I'm just gonna unmute. All right, I should be good, I think, in all the places. I just gotta go find the threadcast. Um,
I can't hear you on the Zoom.
you don't hear me on the Zoom.
I don't hear you on the Zoom.
That's weird.
Um,
How did you hear me before then? Hold
well,
on.
I just switched my audio over.
Gotcha. Do you hear me at all now?
Now I can't hear you on either one.
All right, hold on.
I
Now
can
you
hear you on
hearing
the
me?
spaces, but not Zoom.
Weird. Nothing's
Uh,
changed with my Zoom.
Now I can hear you on Zoom.
Oh, that's strange.
Okay.
Must
Now
have
I
been.
think yep. I think you're good everywhere now.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
charge it quick.
what do we got? Now, last day of April.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. It is the last AMA of April for INLEO.
And we were
And
just talking about the Fed and the numbers this week. Um,
yeah, we were.
you want to let the people know what's going on?
Yeah, I was about to jump into LeoDex and XDeFi and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Before we do
let's do
that,
it
yeah,
after.
we have Fed announcement Wednesday. Obviously, rates are going to probably be unchanged, but everyone's curious to see what the language is. Some people are thinking that Mr. Powell might change his tune to a little hawkish, which would definitely shake the market, I think, considering that everyone was expecting rate cuts. And hate to say the cat was right, but last fall I was just like, I don't think the Fed's going to be rate cutting as much as people think. In fact, I think inflation is going to have like a second wave. And sure enough, the last inflation reading was a good chunk higher than expected and still a nice spread above where the Fed wants things to be. So do we get any rate cuts this year? Probably because it's an election year. I say we end up with at least one, but you know, everyone was thinking four rate cuts, and I'm like, no. And then it was like, oh, like two, and it's like, well, we'll see. So
Yeah,
Fed announcement
I mean,
should
with
be
the election
inch.
cycle, you would think where we'd see a little more, a little more politicking, but we're not.
Yeah, we're not seeing much at all. So either the Fed doesn't like Biden, or Trump was just good at bullying the Fed into doing what he wanted. Um, it's probably a combination of both those things.
Yeah,
Um, and then yeah, there's a number coming out on Friday too that I keep forgetting what it is, but it's an important one. I don't know if it's like consumer spending. I think it might be consumer spending. Um, so yeah, markets could be in for some volatility, and obviously, whether we think it does or not, I feel like the Fed moves does somewhat impact Bitcoin, at least near term, in terms of reactions and whatnot. So, um, a tighter monetary policy isn't exactly great for Bitcoin, interest in a sheer capital inflow, capital outflow, you know, because more the looser money is, the more it's available to buy Bitcoin with. So,
very true.
but
Yeah, well, and I think, and I'm just looking up stuff too while we're talking, but this is like a 22 year, what are we at? We're at like 5.25% to 5.5% is the rate set by the Fed, which is a 22-year high. And I've been talking to a lot of people and just by nature of what I do and the types of people I talk to, it's really painful. This is a painful time to be really anybody. It's a painful time to be a business owner. It's a painful time to be an investor. It's a painful time to be in crypto. Um, when you're in the thick of things, it can be hard to kind of see the forest through the trees. Because you look at what's happening to you by the day-to-day goings on. But at a higher level, with interest rates this high, the whole market is hurting, the whole economy is hurting. People tend not to talk about that, but it's it's a lot of pain. And there's, traditional like brick and mortar business owners that I know, and they're my friends and I talk to them, and things are hurting on that end of the spectrum. People aren't spending money the way they used to. And then when you look at like crypto and investments, obviously things are pretty painful there. Bitcoin has done relatively well if you look at it over a long enough time period, but I think most of us that have been in crypto, it's funny because like when Bitcoin hit 60K for the first time, we were all like, holy shit, Bitcoin is so high. And now that Bitcoin's at 60K again, it's like, well, shit, it doesn't feel very good. And I think a big reason for that is that, there's a lot of pain in other places of the market, especially when you look at altcoins. So, it's just very painful. So I think I kind of align with a lot of people hoping that rates come down a little bit. Um, but yeah, it's right now I've seen a couple of good tweets about, you have to just survive. The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent.
Absolutely. Speaking of irrational, I didn't look today, and apparently Bitcoin's down 3,300 points right now, and we're back down at 60K,
Back
which
down to 60.
son of a gun. I keep talking about I want to put a little short hedge on. I want to put a little short hedge on. I didn't do it. I'd already be in the money. 3,000 points. Some bitch. Last day of April, ending not strong. I mean, stock market's down too. That monthly candle is looking ugly. Wow, that actually puts us right near the low for the month. The low is from that last week or whatever it was when we were touched 59.5. So not looking pretty on the monthly chart.
No, where do
In
you
fact,
before we jump into all the Leo stuff, where do you see crypto going in the short term? Do you see Bitcoin holding 60K, or what are you
I mean,
what are the
if it doesn't
charts
hold 60K,
whispering in
that'll
your ear?
suck.
Yeah,
Confusion.
mass
That's what it
confusion.
whispers. Because I mean, like we just had the halving, right? So generally we've always gone up, after the halving, you know, but doesn't mean we have to go up right away. I don't know. On the daily, it's like great. We're consolidating. We're holding this range. Great. Looks good. The weekly chart looks like a bull flag. Um, Although with today's move, maybe less of. But then when I look at the monthly, all I see is overextended, overbought, and probably going to pull back to like 45, 50K. Like when I look at the monthly and I'm like, I look at every other prior move, it's like you have the funny part is the timing is almost identical. So October 2020 is when basically that bull move started. And then we had green candles straight through till March 21. And then April 2021 was the first red candle. It was like ginormous monthly red doji candle. And then we got smoked in May. June was down, but it basically was a bottom. And July, tested that intra month, but then was green. And then we made that second run because that was the weirdest bull market, right? Because we made a high at like 64, pulled all the way back to 30, and then made a high at, the 69, which was not much higher, right? That was the first time we really kind of had one of those. So I'm like looking at now, it's like, holy shit, this bull market basically started October of 23, so like same month, and April, like all green candles, and then two huge green candles, February, March, just like the last one, and now April's the first red candle, and I was like, am I having deja vu right now? So I almost hope we do because if we're down in May and June, and that takes us back to like, because I use the 10 period moving average all the time as like kind of like a overbought, oversold indicator. And that move in 21, 20, in 21, what happened? We pulled back and we held that 10 period. Like we poked through it a few times, but it ended up closing above it on the monthly pretty much every time until, we finally ended up topping out and going down again. So could we see a pullback, to let's say 40? Because like I'm looking at the chart, like the 46 area is a pivot point. 46, 47 is a pivot point that we've seen price wise. And that would take us right back to, this moving average is probably going to be at about that price come next month, like once this candle finishes. Um, so, that would also give time for like right now, the stochastic RSI is like completely in overbought territory, and it's been there since, um, since July of 20 of last year. So, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, that indicator doesn't, always play great with the monthly because, it's been on the low end when we've seen prices rise and all that. But so that's just straight technical charting, and that's what's got me thrown because I'm like, well, we should go up this year because of halving. So I don't know. Um, I am in coin flip mode in terms of my conviction. And
Yeah.
that is why I wanted to put on a small hedge. I was happy to lose, but I did not get around to it because, um, we'll say, hypothetically, I'm hesitant to put on a short future trade because of the hypothetical KYC that might be creeping into the hypothetical central exchange that one uses to short.
Yeah, speaking of, the the LeoDex has gotten tons of updates over the past week, which I think is very well timed with the kind of hammering down on various centralized exchanges, including one called MEXC, which is one of the few places left where you can trade Hive. Um, and for years I've talked about this vision I have for um, being able to trade Hive on decentralized exchanges. And obviously, I've been very loudmouthed about my belief in Thorchain and cross-chain L1 dexes. And I believe that they're just going to continue to grow long term. So I've always wanted to kind of position Leo and position Hive in a way to benefit from that and be a part of it. Um, and with the upgrade that we literally pushed yesterday, you can now trade Hive going both directions. So you can swap into and you can swap out of Hive using LeoDex.io. So with that, we also improved the UI for LeoDex swaps of Hive. So now there's like a step-by-step module. It's a lot more user-friendly. Um, and then we also integrated XDeFi. So that went live yesterday as well. So I know, Mitch, you were waiting for XDeFi to pool your Leo. Um,
Well, no, actually, I pulled with a key store.
oh,
I
you
created
did
a
with the
key
key
store and I
store. I
pulled.
thought you were
Yeah,
waiting for
actually,
XDeFi.
yeah. I'll refresh your memory because I was one of the test dummies and I had one of my liquidity events where like like it was
Oh, it's
imbalanced or
pending.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Is
don't
it
even know.
still
Like
pending?
one, I pushed one, pushed another, and then and it was weird because it like I did a really small one the third time, so it would push the second one, and I didn't care about the third one like staying and pending. But what it did was it like added the one side, but then added like a little bit from the third thing. Like I have an imbalance right now. Like I have 47
Yeah. So
cacao
log
in my
into
wallet available that
LeoDex
shouldn't be.
because we just pushed an update yesterday. Another part of the update yesterday was huge. There's, I don't even know how many things, 20 plus things that got
Yeah, I
pushed.
saw because I turned
Now
on
you can manage your pool if you go to your
yeah,
positions.
no, I turned some people onto LeoDex last night that aren't, you know, keeping up with the news. And I was like, dude, have you gone to LeoDex? And I was like, here you go. Now you have what you need. So,
Nice. Yeah,
and it's
it's
someone that will do volume on LeoDex, especially when the other directions available, like being able to uh, buy sell HBD.
well, you can do it with Hive now. So buy, sell
You
Hive,
can
and you can
you can
buy
sell
and sell
Hive.
Hive. Yeah, you can buy and sell Hive now.
Nice.
Yeah, both direct inbound and outbound are added. So we had the outbound live for the last week. We've been testing it, but then yesterday we integrated the inbound. So
I
um
did see XDeFi went live because I like was looking last night. I'm like, what? And I'm like, checked. I'm like, oh, there's the announcement. Sure. And I just happened to jump on like 2 hours after it went live, and I saw that it was available.
yeah, it was kind of an odd time of day, but I rolled it out as
Yeah,
fast as I could.
I got to decide what I'm gonna do. I might just import my key store into XDeFi, and then I can move. I can just send stuff to that wallet because I have like Arbitrum Leo in my MetaMask, and I did an XDeFi where I, imported that wallet, and I could not get the Arbitrum Leo balance to show in XDeFi, even though it was there, and it showed on MetaMask, and it was getting super frustrating. So I ended up uninstalling XDeFi again.
Yeah,
But
it's really nice having XDeFi. I've been using it the last couple of days, and it is a lot better than Keystore in some ways. Um, obviously that being said, like a lot of people on Maya use Keystore for various reasons. It's a little more self-custody than something like XDeFi. But I think with XDeFi added now, there's going to be a lot more volume is going to flow to LeoDex just out of usability and user friendliness. And then now that we have, and this is kind of a big piece of what I was talking about in the post yesterday, but now that we have the Hive inbound enabled, so now that you can go both ways, I expect to see a lot more volume because now the pool can get rebalanced. So before it was only one way, one direction. So the pool was getting very imbalanced, which made it inefficient to do to sell Hive because essentially nobody could arb the way back and fix the pricing. So now that we've got both directions live, you can buy and sell Hive very easily. It's going to be profitable to do the side that is imbalanced. So, like for example, right now I just checked, and if you were to buy Hive using LeoDex, you would actually make money. So you would actually make a profit on your buy. And if you were to sell Hive, you would have a bigger slippage. So you would lose a little bit of money in the process of selling Hive. So that means that right now, if someone wants to buy Hive, the best pricing you could get, and if you compare it, which I just did, to centralized exchanges, the best pricing you can get is on LeoDex. So if you were like an efficiency person and you were trying to get the best pricing and you were buying some Hive, LeoDex is the way to do it. And not to even mention that you have those added benefits of being on an L1 DEX. It's faster, and you don't have to log into, like you were saying earlier, some sort of exchange where it's possible that they'll KYC you or potentially lock or freeze your funds. This is an L1 DEX. It's connected to Maya, and as of right now, it has better pricing than a centralized exchange on the inbound. Um, and that will just continue to get better and better as there's more swap volume. So the more swap volume we can get on LeoDex, the more liquidity that will enter the Leo Cacao and the Leo Swap.hive pool on Hive, because of the way that we accrue fees. So the Leo token economy captures value on every single swap, every dollar that is swapped on the Hive aggregation bridge. And in doing that, it just deepens the pools, which means that there can be more swaps. So this Friday at what is the time? Taskmaster posted it here. This Friday, I'll be on the Lions Den space on X, with Taskmaster to talk about flywheels. Um, I know he posted it somewhere here. Where is it? On Friday. Oh, he didn't put the time. Maybe he'll put it in now. Um,
um,
so I will be on the Lions Den this Friday. I think it's at like 1 p.m. Eastern, something like that. Taskmaster will tell us the exact time. Um, and there's over 500,000 Leo in both the Maya and the Diesel pool. So that's good news because it means that swaps can be a lot more efficient. And then like I said, the more volume we see on that aggregator, the deeper the liquidity gets because it's accruing value from that. And also it's organic buy pressure on Leo. So if you are a Leo token holder and you are not shouting from the rooftops to all the other Hive holders out there that they should be swapping using LeoDex, I don't know what you're up to, because it's good for Leo, it's good for you, it's good for the health of Hive as an ecosystem, because right now we are heavily reliant on centralized exchanges. This is really the only place that you can do a fully decentralized swap of Hive to other L1 assets.
So, some maybe breaking news. Apparently, CZ might be going to jail,
I did see that, but people have been saying that
facing
for years.
facing possibility of serving years in prison. This comes following his guilty plea to violating U.S. money laundering laws. The sentencing hearing, which will be conducted by blah 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 in Seattle, will mark a huge moment in the ongoing legal tussle around the crypto market. The prosecutors have argued that imposing a tough sentence for the Binance ex-chief would send out a clear message regarding the law. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
pushing for
people have
like
been
him to go
doing
to
this for
jail. Like,
years. I think it's another China mining thing. It's just FUD when it makes sense to FUD,
yeah,
in my opinion.
it mentioned that the outcome of Binance's former CEO sentencing is scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. Pacific on Tuesday, which is basically 30 minutes ago. There you go. It's CZ's fault that Bitcoin's down 3,000 points.
Hmm. Insert can CZ do something meme.
Right. Shit was
But
funny.
that again is just another indicator of how important it is to get decentralized exchanges up and running with volume for Hive. It is just another indicator of that. Um,
Facts.
because ultimately, at the end of the day, the centralized exchanges pose a massive threat to the industry as a whole. We saw that with the FTX, and we saw that with the Steam hostile takeover. There's so many examples in the broader industry of abuse of power and delisting and all sorts of things that come along with centralized exchanges. So LeoDex is it's a vision I've had for years of getting Hive onto Dexes. And it's a big moment because now, as of literally like, I don't know, 12 hours ago, you can trade Hive on L1 using Maya protocol as the rails. So you can trade with Bitcoin, you can trade with Ethereum, you can trade with Rune, you can trade with Cacao, ETH, USDT. So it's a big moment for Hive to get to this L1 Dex rail. And I think it's just a matter of time before we start seeing a lot of usage there. But we need to really push it. And I've been really racking my brain trying to figure out how do you get Hivers to use LeoDex for their swaps. Now that we have good pricing, now that it's easy to use, and it's faster than using a centralized exchange, how do you get Hivers using it, and how do you get that flywheel kickstarted? As I'll talk about, he confirmed at 1 p.m. Eastern time. He posted a link to the thread in the threadcast. So I'll be talking about that on Friday, but getting that flywheel kickstarted is really important. It will lead to more pricing efficiency over time. So we really need to get the ball. It's like right now, now that all the technology is in place, we need to get the ball rolling down the hill. And it just needs a little bit of a kick to get going. So it's I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but once we start seeing a little bit of volume, I can see that it'll turn into a lot of volume. And then that also coincides with free marketing on the Maya side. So, we had our first I would say, I mean, we've had definitely some hits with the Maya community already in small ways, but our first big swap that was from someone from Maya that has nothing to do with Leo, they swapped about $8,000 worth of Bitcoin into Ethereum using LeoDex. Um, and the reason why that's so huge is because it's just a little indicator of what's possible if we can achieve this vision I have of becoming the number one DEX interface for Maya. That single swap generated $50 in affiliate fee revenue. So that is $25 in buying pressure for Leo. And then the other side, which is $25 worth of cacao. And then it pools the total $50 permanently into the Leo cacao liquidity pool. And obviously that's not very much money, but keep in mind that's one swap on one day by one person. So you can imagine what happens if we start to see, tens of thousands of dollars a day getting swapped on LeoDex, and hopefully eventually millions of dollars a day. The swap fees, the affiliate revenue that comes in and permanently buys and pools Leo is really incredible. And then that ultimately leads to more pricing efficiency for the Hive aggregator, which in turn leads to more potential swap volume using LeoDex, which leads to more fees. So that is the flywheel in a nutshell. But Taskmaster and I will probably hammer that point this coming Friday. Yeah, D-Kid. Yeah. $8,000 swapped by a non-Leo user. It was a big moment because it just kind of like it's kind of like a proof of concept, just to have somebody do it and do it successfully. But yeah, there's a pretty like the volume's $21,000 since we launched LeoDex, which it's only really been 10 days and we only had Key Store up until 12 hours ago. So, I think a big barrier to entry was XDeFi, and then also having the Hive inbound enabled. I think those were two big barriers to entry in terms of getting some initial volume and traction for LeoDex. But now that we have those, I'm pretty confident um, we'll start to see that volume slowly pick up. And I'm going to be working hard with Eric and Nifty to grow LeoDex. I think it is the critical product that will grow the Leo token economy. Obviously I think premium plays a big role, but having this ability to generate revenue from externally from the ecosystem, by having this Maya interface is a really big deal. I don't know really how many ways to say it, but it is a huge deal. And the I've got this vision statement out there. I'm sure someone can find it that I wrote on my blog probably like a year or two ago, talking about the Leo token economy and getting to $100 million market cap, which is kind of like the 5 to 10 year goal of Leo in general. And I revised that whole kind of master plan, if you will. And I revised it to include LeoDex and include premium, and talk about the future of Leo. So I'm planning to post that blog post probably sometime this week. So it really just talks about how the flywheel works and how important it is to grow the volume on LeoDex. It is a big piece of it, alongside the core product of premium as well, and how to grow that because I think we're at about 189 recurring monthly premium users. So that's about $1,900 a month that buys half of that buys Leo and then pulls it. Um, so we're getting these flywheels off the ground. It's just the early stages, and that early stage can be painful to grow, but I think we'll get there. And LeoDex, I really think LeoDex is going to start picking up volume. It's going to be like a very slow and steady, and then suddenly all at once. That's kind of the way I see it going. Vic Van asked, what are your plans towards getting people to know about LeoDex and use it for swapping? Is there going to be an advertisement about it? Yeah, we haven't done a ton of marketing about LeoDex, and a big reason why we were waiting was XDeFi, and then obviously the Hive inbounds. So now that both of those are live, and then along with like 20 plus bug fixes, I'm pretty confident to start telling people to actually use LeoDex and that they can do their swaps and their pooling and manage their pools all from LeoDex. So I'm feeling very confident now that those things are in place. So there's a few things that I have in mind for marketing, and like I said, I need to work with Eric and Nifty. I've been putting in like 100-hour weeks the last couple of weeks to just do the technical side of LeoDex. So now that the technical side is very far along, it's time to really hammer in on marketing and get some volume in and prove that we've built a product that is actually, useful to the market and gain our product market fit. So I need to work with Nifty and Eric. I need to, kind of put together a big marketing plan and get things rolling. A couple ideas I have though. One is there's an ad space on MyaScan. So I want us to get a nice ad banner going there. I think that's probably the number one way to advertise to Maya people. And I've kind of broken this out to take a step back. I've kind of broken this out in three audience segments. The first audience segment are people that are swapping Hive. So these are Hivers that use centralized exchanges like MEXC and Binance to trade Hive. That is one core audience segment for us to go after. Hive trades anywhere from $30 to $80 million a month in trading volume on centralized exchanges, and 90% of that is on Binance. So if we can get 10% of that trading volume onto LeoDex, that would be massive. That would make us the number one UI on Maya, not including any of the other assets that are there, like Bitcoin, Ethereum. So that's literally just Hive. If we got 10% of the centralized exchange market, we would immediately be the number one interface for Maya, and it would be from Hive. And then obviously, if people are swapping Hive, they're probably swapping other things. Then we get volume there. And then if we're the number one UI on Maya, new people coming into Maya see the number one exchange and they just naturally will go there. So like I said, it's kind of free marketing once you get to that point. So that's the first audience segment, are people swapping Hive. The second one is people that are on Maya and swapping any assets. So, that's people that are swapping Bitcoin, Ethereum. Like I said, we had that one guy come in and swap, nearly $10,000 from Bitcoin to Ethereum. So, going after people like that is definitely a big deal. And then another audience segment will be Splinterlands, the Splinterlands ecosystem. So we are working on SPS and DEC and integrating those into LeoDex. I think those will be live by Thursday or Friday. I'm 90% confident that we'll have them live by Thursday or Friday. And that is going to be a whole nother audience segment to go after. Being able to have, the Splinterlands ecosystem using LeoDex for their L1 swaps of SPS and DEC to and from any other L1 asset. So that's going to be pretty huge. After we do SPS and DEC, we're also going to do HBD. So then we'll have Hive, SPS, DEC, and then HBD as the Hive assets that are listed on the Hive aggregation technology. So we need to get some volume flowing. Like I said, as that volume flows, the flywheel only gets stronger and stronger as liquidity gets redeployed. So, getting some initial volume, even if it's a couple $100, it's just, you need that little bit of momentum to get off the ground.
Yep. I think the SPS and deck is definitely going to help with volume
100% agree.
because, I mean, like I said, I was talking to some crypto peeps that are actively involved in those, and I told them about those going live, and it was like, oh, that is going to be super convenient. So, sounds like people are looking forward to being able to swap their deck and SPS.
Yeah, I think that SPS and DEC do a ton of volume on Hive Engine. So I think that will be a big addition.
Yeah, it'll definitely help for like I think some consistent volume. I think will come from that space.
100%. Yeah, and I mean, I think getting, like I said, that first audience segment of just getting some Hivers to start using Hive, or start using LeoDex to swap their Hive. It's right now it's a marketing problem, in my opinion. And Taskmaster said the key to LeoDex is liquidity. To make it competitive, you need deep pools. That is part of it. But even if you look right now, there's people that are buying Hive right now on like Binance or MEXC, unaware that they could be buying that same Hive using LeoDex and actually they would actually be making a profit. So like for example, they're paying 30 cents right now for Hive on MEXC, and I just quoted that it would be 28 cents to buy Hive on LeoDex. So they're that part of it is just a lack of awareness. So it's liquidity depth definitely comes into play when you start looking at bigger volumes, and like if someone's got $10,000 and they want to convert it into Hive or out of Hive, um, that definitely comes into play when it comes to liquidity depth. But right now there's plenty of people that are trading $50 or $100 on centralized exchanges as opposed to using LeoDex, and they're getting worse pricing for doing so. So we already have the pool depth to facilitate those smaller trades. I think it's just a lack of awareness. I mean, obviously it's been, like I said, 12 hours since the inbound was added. So it doesn't have me worried, but it does have me feeling like, we really need to hammer in on marketing and figure out why hivers are not using this solution.
Word needs to get out.
100%. Yep. The technology, like I said, we've spent a lot of time on the technology. I've been, really hammering away on it. But at the end of the day, if nobody uses it, what's the point? So we definitely need to focus in on how to spread this word to hivers. And I've been putting up blog posts, threads, X posts, talking about it. I was talking to Eric about organizing some sort of writing competition to get some of you guys writing about it. So if you want to write a blog post about LeoDex and about trading Hive, maybe you can do a Hive swap and kind of record the process or take screenshots of the process and then write a blog post on INLEO talking about it. And then we will upvote it with Leo.voter. So I already told the team that I wanted to see anyone who talks about LeoDex in their blog posts. I want to see them get extra rewards, some extra love in terms of upvotes.
Um, this is interesting. Um, iJats asked, will LeoDex be included as a market option in non-KYC aggregators like non-KYC.io/markets? I never even heard of that, so
Yeah,
I
I've
just
never
learned
heard of
something.
that. I've never heard of that. But if they list, I don't know, that maybe. I've never heard of it.
I guess it's worth checking out. Non-KYC.io/markets question mark. That's the URL he posted, but I'm just like, huh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, like basically somewhere where it lists all the non-KYC players. What is this?
Um,
What else do I have? I lost some other questions because shit just moves around. I saw someone earlier ask some about like the size, picture size being increased on LeoDex because I'm not LeoDex on in Leo because right now like they'll create the post elsewhere and then I guess like copy paste it or something to LeoDex.
yeah,
In
some of
Leo,
you
I
know
keep
that
saying
we
Leo.
created our own AWS solution for image hosting for INLEO. And we're working on making it more efficient in terms of file sizes and picture quality. So that is something that we're working on. And if we want to transition to talking a little bit about INLEO, I mentioned in the last couple AMAs that we're focused entirely on bug fixes. So I've really listened to you guys, and I know Eric was telling me about this for months. But I had a vision of the features that I wanted to roll out and the timeline I wanted for them. So now that, those features are largely in place, we've spent the last month really focused on bug fixes and just stability for INLEO. And we're going to do the same thing in May. So there's been I think about 26 bug fixes in the month of April so far. And those are anything from, tiny bugs to very major back end fixes, infrastructure fixes. So we've spent the month really just focusing on stability and usability for the interface. And in May, we're going to do the same thing, and hopefully get another, I have a list of about 50 bugs indexed right now, that I want to see fixed by the end of May. And I'm going to spend some more time looking through the feedback hashtag today, gathering your feedback and figuring out what else we should fix. So if you have any bugs that are pressing and bothering you, write a thread, include as much information as you can. Screenshots are very helpful. And then use the hashtag feedback. I actually read that hashtag every single day. And a lot of what the devs do is pulled from that tag. So that is the number one way to communicate your frustrations, issues, suggestions, to the team, is using that hashtag. And like I said, I'm watching it all the time. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress this month in terms of making the UI better. And there's a lot more fixes on the way. There's a lot of infrastructure improvements that will kind of like have cascading effects. They're like lead dominoes that we need to knock over in order to make the user experience better. But hopefully you guys have noticed there's less app errors. There's just generally more stability. Certain things like editing comments have been fixed, and a number of other issues. We also changed, and this was a suggestion by Sunseeker. We changed the Leo tab to show all blog posts that are made from INLEO.io, because before it was pulling from the Leo finance community. So now if you use the Leo on the articles tab, if you use the Leo dropdown, it'll show you anything published from INLEO.io. With some of these front end changes, like what I just described, we're also making a lot of changes with curation, and just in general, we're trying to make sure that rewards are flowing to people that are using the UI, and then also to people that are premium. So it's like if you use the UI, you're going to get rewarded a lot more heavily with Leo.voter. And then if you layer on being premium, it's going to be like an exponential factor on the upvotes that you receive. That's my vision of how curation should work. It's like, do you use the UI? If yes, then you get rewarded. If no, then Leo.voter will skip over your content. And then the second branch of that is if you're using the UI and your premium, then you'll get even bigger upvotes. So that's kind of the idea behind that curation setup.
We talked about this last week. Vic Van asked about the INLEO ads. Ads have been scrapped for now
Yeah,
because they were causing too many bugs.
yeah, like I said, we've been really focused on bug fixes, and we found that, doing some research on the UI, we found that ads were kind of the source of a number of issues, in terms of usability, speed, etc. And I just did like a cost benefit analysis of like when we used to have Coinzilla ads, they were paying us pretty nicely. But Google Ads is paying us next to nothing. It's just simply not even worth it. It doesn't even cover the cost of like a server, like one of the servers that runs INLEO. It doesn't even cover that. So it's like not even worth having the ads if they're not going to pay us. And I went back and forth with them for the last, 6 months, talking about why we were getting paid such little amounts, even though our traffic is really huge. And they just had all sorts of bullshit excuses. And, it's just really impossible to negotiate with them or really do anything with them. So ultimately, what I decided is until we have our own native ad platform built, it's not worth even having ads. It's not worth ruining the user experience for $100 a month. I think when we have our native ad platform that I have designed, it's going to actually have a huge impact on revenue because it'll make a lot more money. And then also it won't impact the user experience so negatively because it's something that we build. It's not us pulling ad code from Google AdSense.
What apparently Wise Agent did a 30K delegation to Leo Voter. Pretty cool.
What was that?
Hive dele Hive delegation from Wise Agent.
Oh, yeah, it's we've actually seen a lot of going in line with what I was talking about, with the changes to curation. So if you post blog posts from INLEO.io, you're going to get heavily curated by Leo.voter. And in the last like month and a half, we've seen a big influx in terms of people delegating Hive power to Leo.voter. So I think like 5 or 6 weeks ago, the high that we were at was about 2.3 million Hive power delegated to Leo.voter. And I checked this morning and there's 4.5 million now. So it's almost doubled. Um,
That's
and it
wild.
keeps growing too. So yeah, it is wild. And it means that our upvotes are, 100% upvote from Leo.voter is over $100 now. So it's pretty big. And like I said, to get those upvotes, you just have to post from inleo.io. So it makes it pretty simple in terms of value proposition. And then being
I don't
premium
even,
will just get you bigger upvotes.
you know, it's sad. All the years I've been on Hive, I've never even had 30,000 Hive power to power up. I think I have like 2,000 Hive power delegated to Leo Voter. So that's a good chunk that Wise Agent threw in there. Earned some good Leo off of that.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, Wise Agent said if you're not an Leo premium subscriber, what are you waiting for? Yeah, and I actually put out some threads and I will continue to do so because I'm just looking for general feedback of like if you're using InLeo and you're not premium, I want to know why you're not premium and what I can do, from the standpoint of, leading the team to do different things to make it more worthwhile to be premium. Like and I put this in the master plan document that I was talking about. I'll publish that on my blog at some point this week. But what in terms of like when you look at like an Amazon user, and I know Taskmaster has used this example too, if you use Amazon to any degree throughout the month, it's almost a no-brainer to be an Amazon Prime subscriber. You get access to Prime Video, you get Prime Music, you get Prime deliveries, which means that they're free and they're faster, and dozens of other very useful things that you get from Prime. It's just like it's an obvious no-brainer as a user of Amazon to be a Prime member, and that is my goal with Premium. It's like if you use InLeo at any point throughout the month it should be like a no-brainer that I should be premium because it's just like I earn more rewards, I get more features, I get more exposure. It's just a no-brainer, obvious thing. So I'm really working hard and trying to rack my brain for any reasons why people wouldn't be premium because we've got about 1,700 monthly active users right now, and like I said, there's about 189 are recurring premium. So we've only got about 10% capture in terms of users on the UI and who's premium. And all of you know very well that my goal is to get to 1,000 premium subscribers. So, that would be about a 5x from where we're at now. And I'm just really trying to figure out how do we get from where we are now to the 1,000 premium mark.
I think it's when benefits of it are more clearly identifiable, like where it's like Captain Obvious, which maybe it might seem that way, but I don't know that it does. I mean, you know, I'll openly admit I just do premium because support. Like, if you were to ask me what the benefits are, I'm like, I could loosely tell you, but I'm just like, I think I might get some more upvotes or something, and that's it. Like, I don't, and you know, I probably should know since you've talked about it multiple times, on these AMAs, but as we know, it's like I'm functioning as a basic end user, so um I don't think of that as Captain Obvious what the benefits are. And even if they've been repeated multiple times, it's just like, well, there's always new faces, and I don't know that. I mean, yeah, I guess it's out there, but I couldn't easily tell somebody or point them to somewhere to read something that would give them these answers. I guess is
You
sort of
just
my
take,
point.
what about the premium page?
Is it on there?
Yeah, it says your premium fee. Well, I'm a premium already, but if you're not premium, it says what the premium features are. It lists them.
Oh yeah, your premium features. Yep. Orange check mark, priority in for you feeds, edit threads after you post them. blah blah blah. Publish. Well, there you go. So, and that's my point. Like that's sitting there, and I don't even fucking realize it. Like
Yeah, I
in
think, and
threads,
this goes in with
you
what
know,
I've been talking about with LeoDex too. I think there's we have a lot of work to do on the marketing front
auto
because I feel
AI.
like there's just a lot of people that don't know what's going on different
Also,
levels.
it's a matter of these, things being desirable. Like for instance, you mentioned the Amazon Prime thing, right? I wasn't a Prime member for so long because I didn't buy off of Amazon that often, right? And then I'm like, all right, you know what? This is dumb. Even if I buy some off of Amazon once a month, it makes sense to have Prime. And then
Right.
I didn't know that you get the freaking Prime TV. And I'm like, well, sweet. Because at that point, it's just like I'd cut the cord anyway. So I'm like, I just picked up a ton more. And for me, it's like I have Prime for those two reasons. I get like Prime is like my lead thing in terms of watching TV, and then obviously free delivery and all that nonsense because I'm ordering stuff on Amazon probably once, twice a month. Um, so that's so it's like what are the features that basically are going to entice people? And for some people, the auto AI summarize their long form post into a thread storms. There's a handful of people on INLEO that is something that like hell yeah, that's useful. Like I could see someone like Taskmaster getting a lot of benefit out of that, right? But there's only a handful of people that fits. Like to me, that's not really useful for me. I mean, I guess maybe I could figure out a way to,
Well,
leverage
let
it,
me run
but
something by you too, because I mean I don't talk about it publicly too much just because of the wins, the overwhelming wins. But we are working on Leo AI. I have somebody that works on that full time. Um,
nice.
and it will eventually get to the public interface, and you guys will be able to use it if you're premium. So that will be a benefit of premium, being premium. One of the features is to auto AI summarize your blog posts into thread storms. One of the other ones is when you're writing a blog post, it will actually help you write the blog post. So it will say like it'll suggest the next paragraph. It'll suggest an outline, and it'll overall just it's like an AI copilot. If you've ever used Copilot from Microsoft and you're like writing in a Word document, um, it'll basically help you write, and it'll help you write faster, and it might make your writing more clear. The English would be better, the grammar would be better. So if you could picture, because this is the idea that this is what I'm trying to do with Leo AI. One of the things is when you're writing a blog post, it will know your previous blog posts. So it will have it's the data for Leo AI. It's trained on everything you've ever done on Hive. So it knows every blog post you've ever written. And while you're writing, it would be suggesting to you, here's a potential next section for your blog post. So it would essentially make it easier to write blog posts. It would make it faster, hopefully, to write a blog post. And it would just overall make the quality of your posts even better. It won't write the post for you, to be clear, but it will suggest things and make it, like I said, it's a co-pilot, it's a co-writer. Tassar said like Grammarly, but on steroids. Exactly. It is like that. It is like in one window, you'll be sitting side by side and you'll be writing, and it'll be suggesting things while you're writing. Um, if that was live, would that be a premium feature that you would be, what would be useful to you, Mitch, as someone who writes blog posts, here and there? Would it potentially make you write more blog posts because it's a lot easier?
I'm sure it'd be useful because it's, helping move things along, um, and therefore being able to write posts more efficiently. I mean, I'm sure it's a feature that um, would be a nice tool. So, and when that's all live, I'm sure a lot of people are going to leverage it. So because I don't care about stuff turning into a thread storm, but yeah, as far as like I'm writing a post and then it's essentially greasing the wheel for me, that decreases my workload. So therefore it makes it easier to post, which could lead to more frequent posting. So yeah, I think that's definitely a value add. And it's interesting, like I brought up this topic, for a reason because I wanted to see what people started to say. So like there's a ton of, threads being posted about, what they like about premium. And like, for me, like it's so basic right now. I like that. And the thing is, I still long form post more than I thread. I thread here and there, but I'm long winded. So when I thread, I like the fact that I have a longer character limit. Like, I'm the normal amount of characters usually isn't long enough a lot of times for my threads. So for me, being premium, I like that A, I can do longer threads, and B, I can edit because who besides me, and I'm sure everybody is super annoyed where you tweet or you thread and you have whatever, like you type the wrong word or like you just like fat fingered something and it just like looks dumb and you're like, damn it, I want to fix that. And you can't. Well, another premium feature that, I like. I like that I can edit. So those are the two big ones for me right now. But like, you know, Simple Game was just like said what is it? The purple and black theme alone is worth premium to him, you know? So I
Different things
get
for
that,
different. Yeah.
like for me, like I like the default Leo colors, like that's my jam. Like that's the same colors I use for like my Scaredy Cat brand, right? So I'm like the black and that, like kind of um slightly burnt orange. Like so I love the theme, but if like that was something I could switch to because that wasn't the default theme, like that's what I'd be switching to, using my use premium feature. So um there's always little things and everyone's got different tastes. So it was super interesting to see what
Question for you
people have
guys
been
too.
posting.
Yeah, no, and I think it is different strokes for different folks. Like everyone's going to find their own reason for having premium. Um, Question for the audience and for you, Mitch. Should we allow premium users to share their own blog posts in the main thread feed? So like right now, nobody can share links. No links are allowed. You can embed YouTube
Mm,
videos, but you can't share any links. And the reason for that is because we used to allow it, but you guys probably remember if you were around for the early days of threads, it just became a post promotion channel where everyone was just, people wouldn't even thread. They would just come after they posted a blog post, they would just come share the link and then leave. Um, which is obviously not something that we want. But since premium users are generally inclined to be more active in other ways, anyways, like they're not going to be theoretically, they're not going to be just premium to drop a post link once a month and then leave. Um, should we allow premium users to share links?
so and before I dive into it, because this is loosely related, Task said the most valuable part of premium is the ability to embed YouTube and three speak videos in the thread. That is a huge and necessary. That's huge and necessary for the future of Leo. So, um, yeah. I mean, obviously, when we did the music on Leo, like I was dumping the YouTube embeds in there. Is that a premium only feature?
Yeah.
Being able to? Okay. So
And,
yeah.
and the
So
reason
there you
why
go.
it's an indirect one because you have to be able to post longer than
That's
uh
right. Yeah, I
250
remember.
240
Yeah, I
characters.
remember because I like my premium expired one time and I went to do like one of those and I'm like, why is this not working? And then I'm like, oh, my premium expired. That's why. Um, what you call it? Also, Simple Game asked, how long does it take for my check mark to come back? Because I guess his expired. Usually I found that if it doesn't show up right away, it usually shows up within like an hour or two.
Yeah, it shouldn't be more than if it takes more than 20 minutes, then usually something was wrong with the transfer, like you added a memo or something. But I actually looked at his and there's no memo, so it
Yeah,
will
it's
be
probably good to
within
go.
20 minutes.
But to circle back to, your question, I think that that is an interesting needle to thread because there's pros and there's potential cons, and I think that it will increase premium users because people will want that ability. What they do with it is all over the board. Some people might use it for just self-promotion links, which then begs the question, is it okay since they're essentially paying for the right to do that? And then how crazy will it get? Will it get as bad as it was? I don't think it will because I feel like a lot of the spammy slash just straight self promotion are people that aren't gonna have premium because they just can't even afford it. Um,
Yeah,
some of those
I
people
agree with
will end
that.
up in, yeah, some of those people. So like you're definitely gonna get some self promotion, like it's gonna come back. It just won't be all willy nilly and ridiculous. So it's tough because if you decide to do that and it ends up being a hot mess, it's hard to roll it back after that. You know what I mean? Like that definitely wouldn't go over well. So, but
Well,
at
yeah,
the
I
end
mean,
of
I
the
think it's
day,
something we could roll out, and if it didn't work, we could pull it back, and I think people would understand because the only way we pull it back is if it gets really spammy, like it was
yeah, I
before.
mean, I don't think it'll get I hope it. I mean, listen, if it gets super, super bad, then that basically is just a bad omen for in Leo on a whole, because that means the overall community, the texture of the overall community is shittier than we want it to be.
The
So,
culture, the culture.
yeah, the culture. So, but I mean, yeah,
Well, and that is a good point because I think that the culture on Leo is much different than the culture on the broader spectrum of Hive. And that's why, the broader spectrum of Hive, I think, is mostly, go upvote my blog post. That's like a lot of what you see. But the culture within Leo, I believe, is a lot stronger. Like I know that when I see people like you guys in the audience that have check marks, I know that you guys are, hardcore Lions, and I know that you generally, are, let's say, like the top 1% of Hive users, in my opinion. And it's obviously a biased opinion, but I actually believe that to be true. And I think you guys are definitely more inclined to be power users and do things that are beneficial for the platform, not just, hey, go upvote for upvote my post.
yeah. No, and you got, I mean, in Task even said premium should be able to post links in top line threads. And he's like, if they're spamming, don't worry, we can overwhelm it with data posting. Same thing. It's just like, just, you know, and you follow that saying, trust me, if the main feed is full of links, I can overwhelm it in a big way with threads. So, like, yeah, I get that. What else do we have? Simul Game said, only if the blog post is from the INLEO interface, and if it becomes an issue, then we have a premium plus that allows it. Embedding YouTube videos is huge. The INLEO Music Initiative has become my Spotify, which is good. I like that. That's interesting. I didn't think about that because we don't think about, we say links, but we're not thinking about internal, external, right? I don't know if there's a way to filter that, but that's interesting. And I don't even really think the
Hmm.
spam posting really was external links. I think it was just self-promotion links for like, Hive-based blog posts
Right. It was
from what
like
I
if you
saw.
ever go to a Discord, a Hive Discord that has post promotion channel, which a lot of them do, and we used to have one too. It started to look like that, where it was just like people
Yep.
that you've honestly never even heard of,
Yep.
like and sometimes in other languages, just coming in and just dropping links to their blog posts, and they would not, and you would look at their account and you would see that they've made no threads other than a link to their blog post every time they posted a blog post.
Yep.
So that is really the thing we're trying to avoid. But like I said, when you've got a premium user, they're generally going to be more involved than just promoting posts. Like
Yeah. Like all
it's
those
kind of
people
a
are going to get
natural
filtered
thing.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That specific example, those people will get filtered out from premium.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. It's something I've thought about. But we don't want to ruin the culture either. Yeah, and Tasso just said adding links to top line threads, we should have external links as well. People are paying for premium, they can add a link to anything from the outside too. It's important to have the free flow of information and it stimulates engagement. I agree. And one of the biggest use cases for me on X has always been finding like interesting blog posts. Like someone might share an interesting like Bloomberg article, and that's always been a big use case of X for me. But the thing that X has that we have in a way with the For You feed, but they have a better algorithm, and obviously just by nature of having billions of dollars to develop it. So the fact that we mostly, I would say probably 99% of us here use the latest feed as our primary feed. If everyone's just sharing article links, it gets really, it gets kind of annoying. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, and maybe we could have some sort of checkbox where you can filter out links, each time you refresh. There's definitely some other things we could do as well. Um, but my main line of thinking is like, yes, it is like it would be valuable to have certain people posting links. Like that's why we also kind of played around with the idea of like if you have more than 100,000 Leo power, you can share blog post links or you could share any links in the top thread. And the reason for that was just to filter people out who don't have the best interest of the community at heart. So, um, there's that, and then there's also just trying to add more value to premium. I mean, that's where a lot of my thinking is these days is how do I add more value to premium? How do we get to 1,000 premium subscribers? I think that flywheel is vital for the community and the ecosystem that we're trying to build. Um, so yeah, that's just where my headspace is. And one of the upcoming features for premium too is going to be lower fees on LeoDex. So if you're swapping if you're swapping Hive, especially on LeoDex, it's going to be kind of another no-brainer for being premium. Is if you are an active premium member, your fees will be lower.
Oh, this is an interesting question. Would the Leo AI transcribe articles written in other languages, other than English? That's interesting.
Yeah, you will be able to use Leo AI in a lot of different ways, and I think that will be one of the use cases. So there could potentially be like a translate button. I think on every blog post you see in the future on INLEO, there's going to be like an AI drop down, and you'll click that, and there will be different AI actions you can have. So you can ask the AI, show me blog posts, show me another blog post from this author that's similar to this one, or translate this article from Spanish to English, or whatever.
I mean, this question's come up a bunch of times over the last couple of months in terms of being able to do a long-term subscription of premium, like annually or semi-annually. I know that's something that's, I think, on the horizon, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to do like a recurring one as well, but there's some issues with doing recurring payments with a blockchain. Um,
Yep.
so I would love to see, um, I would love to see some longer term subscriptions, and I think that's probably what's going to come next is like a 6 month, 12-month option, at least a 12-month option. So you'll be able to do monthly or maybe yearly. And I see Godfish posted a screenshot comparing LeoDex and Simple Swap. And I saw a lot of people talking about Simple Swap as well. The one thing about Simple Swap, and by the way, if you flip those around, try doing USDT to Hive, and you'll see that the pricing is very different. The pricing on LeoDex will be superior just because of the pricing dynamics right now. So obviously, taking it in this moment, uh, it would be different. So SimpleSwap is a centralized exchange. It's no different than any other centralized exchange. So it's complete. It's like apples and oranges, in my opinion.
I don't know
Um,
what rock I've been under, but yeah, I didn't hear Simple Swap until like literally 2 weeks ago or whatever when it was first mentioned with Leo
well,
Dex
they
talk. And
basically
I'm
just
like,
route trades through a centralized exchange on your behalf. That's basically what it does.
gotcha. And this is something that people in the US can actually use.
I actually don't know. I'm not even sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's why I haven't even bothered looking. But no doubt. Oh wow, that's a whole nother level. Hijax is talking about a payment card similar to Bolt cards that would allow us premium users to pay and shop for with Leo and HVD through the Lightning Network. It's
Yeah, I
interesting.
think that just gets into a whole realm of
Oh, it's just like a
issues
whole
and
nother,
regulations, and
that's
it's
a whole
just
nother
wouldn't even
business
be.
in itself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that on the maybe one day in the far, far future. Well, I did not know I could use Simple Swap back in the day, a non-KYC in and out of Hive. Was not aware.
Yeah, and again, I mean, the goal of LeoDex is to have better pricing, price efficiency compared to centralized exchanges like SimpleSwap. And it's going to take time to get there. But like I said, depending on when you time your trade, like if you were to buy Hive right now on LeoDex versus buying Hive on SimpleSwap, you would get a better price on LeoDex. So,
Sweet. Well, I'm not even worried about that because I'm not basically learning another UI and connecting another wallet. So LeoDex it is for me because the cat is that lazy. Um, I was annoyed that I had to
Cat
get
is a
familiar
Leo
with
hardcore.
XDeFi. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, I just want to use MetaMask. I know it sucks, but I don't feel like learning XDeFi. Can the threading space be used as an advertising channel, sales, or product? That's interesting. Can threads be used as an advertisement channel for sales or products? I mean, technically, yes, when the in-house ad platform goes live.
Yeah. And one of the other upcoming features for premium will be ad credits. So when that platform is live, every premium user will get some level of ad credits to run ads. And basically, if you want to promote like your blog posts, there's going to be a promotion ability where you can promote your blog post
So
and you'll get a little bit
hold
of
on a
credits
sec.
each month.
That's awesome. I'm going to switch back to gears here. If I recall correctly, what is it? $150 or less, there's no fee on LeoDex.
Yes.
Okay. No, because people are talking about like simple swap and fees and whatever. It's just like, well, if you're only swapping out like $100, it's free. So
Right. And literally,
or
yeah.
100 or $150. Sweet. Cat found the hack. 10 $149 transactions.
Yeah,
No, that would
yeah,
be
there's no
dumb.
fees if
Just
there's
wasting a
no
bunch of
affiliate
gas.
fee if it's under $150. And that's for any swap, not just Hive swaps. That's for any
Sweet.
that is for any like Bitcoin, ETH, whatever, any
Symbol
swaps.
Game's gonna buy my ad credits. You should market them for uh, just kidding. No, I want if I can sell them, I'm selling them. I don't need ad credits. You can have all my ad credits, Symbol Game. Well, promote the games. What else? Man, the threads are flying. My UI just can't keep up. 310 comments we're at. INLEO annual subscription option must be available. I'm all in, said wise agent.
Coming soon. Coming soon.
There you go. Simple Game is giving me useful information. Simi said more tokens in the Maya and Leo decks in general would replace Simple Swap. The goal of Leo decks has to be millions in volume. That is correct, Task. And here's the problem with that. Did you look at when you look at the Maya wars, whatever you want to call it, between the things, look at the amount of volume. It's just like that whole space needs to gain more volume. You're looking at like total between all the things, I think like 10 million a month in volume, which obviously is no number to sneeze at, but isn't, you know, big dog like 100 million a month type level.
Yeah, and so we are really well positioned. I'm actually like my excitement level for LeoDex. I hope it's obvious just by the way I talk about it and how much I talk about it. But we are really well positioned here because Thorchain did $10 billion in trading volume last month. It was there in the month of March. It was their biggest month ever. And like you said, Maya did about $10 million. So what's the big difference between Thorchain and Maya outside of liquidity? And just general, namesake and listings and whatnot. The biggest difference is streaming swaps. And if you look at the Thorchain trading volume per month without streaming swaps, it looked very similar to Maya. And then now that streaming swaps are live, the volume is like 100x, 1000x. Like it's really crazy to see how much that swap volume has increased for Thorchain. In a post streaming swap world. And Maya, in talking with their team in their, podcast that they do each week, they're pretty confident they're going to have streaming swaps live in the next 3 to 5 weeks. So LeoDex is really well positioned right now to be, one of the top players on Maya. We're already number 5 in terms of swap count. So we're growing. It's really more about swap volume that we need to grow, from that perspective right now. But when streaming swaps go live, we are really well positioned to inherit, that 10x increase in volume that I think will happen. I think it's very likely that, say because it took a little bit of time on Thorchain to kind of heat up. So I would say give it 6 months on Maya, and I could easily see $10 million a month become $100 million a month in trading volume. And LeoDex being positioned as one of the top three UIs for trading on Maya, we could inherit a ton of that volume. And obviously, the affiliate fee is 0.45%. So 0.45% of every dollar, that's swapped on LeoDex goes into the Leo Cacao pool, which ultimately leads to better pricing for Hive swaps. So, like I said, that flywheel will build on itself rather quickly. Um, One thing we've seen too, LeoDex was the first UI to get Arbitrum live. So we were faster than all the other Maya UIs. All the other Maya UIs have been in production for months, some of them for a year. Like 12 months is like the oldest Maya UI. So, you know, if you look at LeoDex and you compare it to those UIs, and obviously this is all friendly competition, but they call it the interface wars. Um, Compare LeoDex side by side with these other UIs, and you'll see that we already look like we're kind of pulling ahead in terms of technology, in terms of a clean, usable interface, and in terms of features. And we've only been building LeoDex for the last like 6 weeks. So they've been working on it for 6 to 12 months. We've been on this for 6 weeks. When Arbitrum came out, we were the first UI, and we beat all the other UIs by about a week in terms of how fast we rolled it out. So when streaming swaps eventually go live in the next probably month, I think LeoDex will be the first, if not one of the first UIs to have streaming swaps, and to do it in a really clean, usable way. So, like I said, we're really well positioned here to grow alongside Maya. I saw Taskmaster put a comment in, about kind of leveraging the growth that Maya and Thorchain are going to see. I think they're going to grow immensely in this bull market. And LeoDex being one of the number one UIs on Maya is going to really put us in a nice position, not even just from the, swap volume, swap fees, and building that permanent liquidity, but also in terms of just free marketing. Like I said, if LeoDex is the number one UI, there's that little INLEO button at the top of the UI. How many people will eventually, be using LeoDex to swap their Bitcoin, Ethereum, Arbitrum, whatever, and then ultimately look at that INLEO button and be like, I wonder what this INLEO thing is. And then they find INLEO and potentially become a user. So, there's that. And then there's also the crossover stuff that we're working on where if you're premium and you have a certain amount of Leo power, you get swap tiers. So the higher your tier, the lower your affiliate fee for using LeoDex. So you'll save money on fees by owning Leo power and by being premium. So how many people will come to LeoDex and be like, okay, if I buy, 50,000 Leo power or 50,000 Leo and then stake it for Leo power and then become premium on INLEO. Now when I swap, $100,000 from Bitcoin to Ethereum, my fee is 1/10 of what it would be on all the other Maya UIs. How much volume and how many users do we see kind of flow from that crossover? I think that's going to get really fascinating as well. So building the volume on LeoDex is one of the most important things we can do, not only to kickstart the, tokenomic flywheel of Leo, but also the actual, the growth in users of Leo as well.
Indeed. Well, time flies when having fun. It's 1:33 Eastern. We've been going well over an hour now, so probably a good place to wrappy.
100%.
Yep. And basically all the comments are talking about how Leo Dex is also going to be um, an impact on the adoption of INLEO. And you were kind of just saying that, and yeah, there's definitely going to be a residual effect for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And what
What do
can
we
you
got?
guys do? Because I'm seeing some comments about it. What can you guys do to help us grow LeoDex and help us realize this vision of making it the number one Maya UI? Is if you're swapping or trading any amount of Hive, if you consider using, just quote it out at least using LeoDex and consider using it. And like I said, a lot of times you'll actually get better pricing using LeoDex than another exchange. But even if you get slightly worse pricing, I've been personally starting to move my Hive trading to LeoDex, even if the pricing is a little bit worse. But especially when the pricing is better, that's just obviously a no-brainer. But even $50 or $20, every little dollar makes a big difference when you swap on LeoDex. So if you're a hardcore lion, if you're looking to help us grow LeoDex and become the number one exchange interface on Maya, every dollar swapped counts. So I would say my PSA is just consider LeoDex the next time you trade Hive.
Well, I know that I'll be loading my key store into an XDeFi wallet after we get off this AMA and seeing if I can do a swappy swap with some Arbitrum Liam. Or Leo said Liam. That's funny.
Liam.
Good old Liam. Liam, it's the secondary coin. It's not on the market yet. No one knows about it. Off market only. You
You'll
got to
know
know
when
a
you know.
guy. It's like an off market property. It's not listed. Cool. All right. Well, good
Sweet.
stuff. Glad to see XDeFi's live. Looking forward to the Splinterland tokens going live because I think that will bring in some volume. So,
Yep.
and then same thing with HBD. I'm gonna be super excited when HBD's live because the reality is, I've been building up my HBD savings, but I'm gonna get to a point where it's like, all right, I have the amount I want, and now the point is to like actually take the monthly interest and do something with it, even if it's buying more Bitcoin. So being able to swap HBD on LeoDex um, is gonna be super useful, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Splinterland's assets should be live by Thursday or Friday. HBD might be alongside with them. We'll see how that goes. If you guys can use the Hive swaps, like I said, and give us feedback on it, how it works, if you encounter any bugs, all the feedback helps. And ultimately, it will also help us get HBD and SPS and DEC listed faster because they all use the same rail. So improving the rail for Hive will ultimately lead to those getting ready even faster, and they'll be even better when they are ready.
Cool deal.
Sweet.
All
Keep an
right.
eye out for tomorrow, the Fed meeting. We'll see if crypto dies or if we go to the moon.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Yep. But yeah, thanks, Mitch. Thanks everybody for coming. This was a big threadcast, so love to see it.
Yes, go play with LeoDex and we'll come back next week and see what broke.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, guys, have a good one.
All right.